Picture this, you're Bethesda Game Studios. You just made billions from Skyrim and Fallout 4. You have one of the most passionate fan bases in gaming. The industry worships you. Then you decide to take your beloved single-player RPG franchise and turn it into a multiplayer survival game. What could go wrong? Everything. Literally everything. What you're about to witness is the story of the biggest launch disaster in the ROA gaming history. A game so broken at release that it achieved a 2.8 user score on Metacritic. A disaster so complete that the company had to issue refunds, got sued multiple times, and accidentally exposed customer personal data. A failure so catastrophic that it became a meme, a cautionary tale, and a business school case study on how not to launch a live service game. But here's the twist. 6 years later, against all odds, Fallout 76 is still alive. It has millions of active players. It's getting major expansions. Bethesda is finally investing real money into it. The game that should have died in 2018 is somehow thriving in 2025. This is the complete unfiltered story of Fallout 76. From the hype to the crash, from the lawsuits to the slow rebuild, from the abandoned wasteland to the surprising resurrection triggered by a TV show that Bethesda didn't even make. By the end of this video, you'll understand how a billion-dollar company can fail so spectacularly, why players who should have left stayed anyway, and what this disaster teaches us about the gaming industry's obsession with live service games. Let's dive into the wasteland. May 30th, 2018. Bethesda starts a countdown on social media. A Vault Boy bobblehead. A mysterious "please stand by" message. The Fallout community loses their minds. Everyone assumes it's Fallout 5, or maybe a New Vegas remaster, or a New Vegas sequel from Obsidian. The hype is unreal. Fallout 4 sold over 13 million copies in its first 24 hours. The franchise is at peak popularity. Whatever Bethesda announces will print money. The teaser trailer drops. It shows Vault 76, the Reclamation Day celebration. People emerging from the vault into Appalachia. It's beautiful. It's mysterious. But something feels different. The trailer is vague. There are no characters, no dialogue, no plot, just scenery and the promise of something new. The speculation goes wild. Is this a single-player prequel? A co-op spin-off? What is Vault 76? Then comes E3 2018. June 10th, Todd Howard takes the stage. He's got that classic Todd energy. Confident, charming, ready to sell you the dream. And then he says the words that changed everything. Fallout 76 is entirely online. The room goes quiet. Online? What does that mean? Todd continues. There are no human NPCs. Every person you see is a real player. The game is 4 times the size of Fallout 4. You can play solo or with friends. PvP is optional. Nuclear weapons can reshape the map. It's built on the creation engine modified for multiplayer. The reaction is mixed. The live audience claps politely, but online, the community fractures instantly. Half the fan base is cautiously optimistic. Maybe this will be fun with friends. Maybe Bethesda knows what they're doing. The other half is furious. Fallout is a single-player RPG. This is a betrayal. Nobody asked for multiplayer Fallout. The warning signs are already there. Bethesda has never made a multiplayer game before. The creation engine is notoriously buggy even in single-player. The promise of optional PvP in a survival game sounds impossible to balance. And no NPCs. How do you tell a Fallout story with no NPCs? But Bethesda is confident. They announce a beta, the BETA, or Break It Early Test application. Very clever, very Vault tech. They're going to let players test the game before launch to iron out issues. The beta starts in October 2018. And immediately, the cracks appear. Server crashes, constant disconnections, quest progress wiping randomly, objectives not updating, enemies spawning invincible, entire quest lines breaking. The game is held together with duct tape and prayer. The community reports thousands of bugs. Bethesda promises they're working on fixes. Launch is just a month away. Surely they'll fix the major issues, right? Spoiler alert, they didn't. November 14th, 2018. Fallout 76 officially launches on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Players log in expecting a polished experience after the beta feedback. What they get is a catastrophe. Almost every bug from the beta is still in the game. Server stability is terrible. Players disconnect constantly, losing quest progress. The game has no push-to-talk on PC, so every microphone in America is transmitting into the Appalachian wasteland. You can hear people's family arguments, dogs barking, and literal breathing through your speakers. The optional PvP system is immediately exploited. Players figure out how to grief others without triggering the wanted system. They can destroy your camp, they can lure enemies to kill you, they can exploit mechanics to force you into PvP, whether you want it or not. Your camp, the base building system that's supposed to be a core feature, resets constantly. You log in, your entire base is gone. You switch servers, your base disappears. The game stores your camp as a blueprint, but placing it back down often fails because the terrain isn't suitable, even though that's where it was before. The survival mechanics are meaningless. You need food and water to survive, but if you don't eat or drink, you get a minor debuff. That's it. You don't die. You just run slightly slower. This removes all stakes from the survival gameplay. When you die, you drop all your junk materials, but junk in Fallout 76 is easy to farm, so dying has almost no penalty. There's no real risk versus reward. The story is non-existent. Remember, there are no human NPCs. Every quest giver is a robot, a terminal, or a holotape. You're basically playing a scavenger hunt through a post-apocalyptic audio tour. The Overseer left holotapes around the map. You follow her path, listening to recordings, reading terminal entries, and fighting scorched mutants. There's no dialogue system like Fallout 3 or New Vegas. No moral choices, no branching narratives, just go here, kill this, listen to tape, repeat. The endgame is virtually non-existent. The campaign, such as it is, takes about 20-30 hours. After that, you're supposed to farm legendary weapons with random effects, launch nukes to spawn the Scorchbeast Queen boss, and that's it. That's the entire endgame loop. But the bugs are what dominate the conversation. Let me give you some examples. Players discover that if you speed up your frame rate, your movement speed increases. The game's physics are tied to frame rate, a rookie mistake that PC games solved in the 1990s. People with high-end PCs can literally run faster than other players. There's a weight glitch that lets you carry infinite items, completely breaking the inventory management system. Enemies spawn underground, making quests impossible to complete because you can't kill what you can't reach. The Power Armor edition of the game, the $200 Collector's Edition, comes with a canvas bag in the promotional images. What ships? A cheap nylon bag. Bethesda's response? We weren't able to deliver canvas bags due to unavailability of materials. They offer 500 atoms as compensation. That's $5 worth of in-game currency for a $200 product. The backlash is instant and brutal. Bethesda eventually settles a class action lawsuit and ships canvas bags to everyone who requests them, but only if you submit a ticket before a deadline. Many collectors miss the deadline and never get the promised product. The game's code is so poorly secured that data miners discover the development room is accessible in the live game files. This dev room contains every item in the game, including unreleased content. Players figure out how to access it and start duplicating rare items, flooding the economy with duped weapons and materials. Account security is non-existent. Players log in to find themselves on someone else's character. Other players discover exploits to literally steal items from other people's inventories, including the Pip-Boy itself. If someone steals your Pip-Boy, your character is bricked. You can't access your inventory or do anything. Bethesda has to patch the game to automatically give every player a Pip-Boy on login because they can't prevent the theft. The VoIP is peer-to-peer, exposing player IP addresses. Hackers use this to DDoS other players or worse. And then the biggest security breach, Bethesda accidentally exposes the personal information of players who submitted support tickets about the canvas bag controversy. Names, addresses, phone numbers, all visible to other users due to a website error. The reviews start rolling in. They are devastating. IGN gives it a 5.0 out of 10. GameSpot gives it a 4 out of 10. PC Gamer gives it 60 out of 100. These are from professional critics who are typically generous with scores. The user reviews are even worse. Metacritic user score, 2.8 out of 10. Let that sink in. Less than 3 out of 10 for a Bethesda Game Studios mainline release. For context, Fallout 4 has a 5.4 user score, and even that was considered disappointing. Fallout 76 is half that. Steam reviews when the game eventually launches on that platform in 2020? Mostly negative. At one point, it drops to overwhelmingly negative with only 23% positive reviews. The criticism is universal. No NPCs means no story worth caring about. The bugs make the game unplayable. The PvP is broken and optional in name only. The survival mechanics are meaningless. The endgame is non-existent. This isn't Fallout, this is a broken asset flip. Then the price collapse begins. Fallout 76 launches at $60. Within 2 weeks of release, major retailers start discounting it. By Black Friday, just 10 days after launch, it's selling for $35 to $40. By mid-December, you can find it for $25. Some retailers bundle it for free with controller purchases or console deals. By early 2019, you can buy Fallout 76 for as low as 10 to 15 new in some markets. This is catastrophic. A AAA Bethesda game losing 75-85% of its value within 2 months signals complete market rejection. For comparison, Fallout 4 held its $60 price point for over a year. The used game market is flooded with copies. GameStop is practically giving it away. Players are returning the game en masse. Sales figures are never officially released, but industry analysts estimate that Fallout 76 sold approximately 2.5 to 4 million copies in its first few weeks, a fraction of Fallout 4's launch performance. Bethesda's stock price, well, Bethesda is privately owned under ZeniMax Media, so there's no stock to track. But ZeniMax's valuation certainly took a hit. Industry analysts estimated the brand damage in the hundreds of millions. The memes are relentless. YouTube is flooded with Fallout 76 is a disaster videos. Internet Historian makes an entire documentary about the failure. Reddit's r/Fallout becomes a war zone between defenders and critics. Streamers play it ironically, laughing at bugs for content. Bethesda's reputation, built over decades with Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout 3, takes catastrophic damage. The company that It Just Works became famous for becomes a punchline. Now let's talk about the Atomic Shop, because this is where Bethesda's priorities become crystal clear. The Atomic Shop is Fallout 76's microtransaction store. It uses atoms, the premium currency. You can earn atoms slowly through gameplay or buy them with real money. The conversion rate is roughly 100 atoms per dollar. At launch, Bethesda promises the Atomic Shop will be cosmetic only. No pay to win, just outfits, camp decorations, and visual customization. The community accepts this as a reasonable compromise for a live service game, but cosmetic only becomes a very flexible definition. Early on, Bethesda starts selling convenience items, repair kits that let you fix equipment without materials, scrap kits that let you send junk to your stash without returning to camp. These aren't cosmetic, they're gameplay advantages. Then they introduce lunch boxes, consumable items that give XP buffs to your entire team. You can earn these in-game, but you can also buy them. It's not quite pay to win, but it's pay for progression. The Atomic Shop becomes a recycling center for Fallout 4 assets. Remember that cool outfit from Fallout 4? Now it costs $10 in Fallout 76. That settlement decoration you could build for free in Fallout 4? Now it's $5 per item. Bethesda isn't just selling new content, they're selling back assets from a game players already paid $60 for. The audacity is stunning. They introduce seasons, battle pass systems with free and premium tracks. The premium track costs atoms. The seasonal rewards include exclusive weapons and armor with gameplay effects. Miss a season? Too bad. Or wait for them to show up in the Atomic Shop at markup prices later. Camp building, which should be a creative outlet, becomes a monetization avenue. Every major update adds new building pieces, but they're almost always sold in the Atomic Shop first, available for free players months or years later, if at all. Pets, player titles, allies, NPC companions for your camp, weather machines, instance shelter spaces, everything is monetized. Then comes the big one. Fallout First. In October 2019, almost a year after launch, Bethesda announces a premium subscription. Fallout First costs $12.99 per month or $99.99 per year. What do you get? Private servers, except they're not actually private. Players report strangers appearing in their private worlds. Old loot and enemy spawns suggest the servers are recycled from other sessions. The private worlds aren't persistent either. They shut down when you log off, so you can't keep a stable world running. Unlimited scrap storage. This is huge because inventory management is a core challenge. Paying players can store infinite crafting materials while free players struggle with weight limits. This is straight up pay for convenience, bordering on pay to win. Exclusive cosmetics, items you can only access with the subscription active. 1,650 atoms per month, about $16.50 worth of premium currency. Access to exclusive Atomic Shop items. Some items you can't even buy without a subscription. You pay for the privilege to spend more money. The community erupts. Cosmetic only is dead. The game already cost $60 at launch, now heavily discounted. It already has a cash shop. Now it has a subscription too? The backlash is severe, but here's the thing, people buy it anyway. Whales, the small percentage of players who spend heavily on free-to-play games, embrace Fallout first. The unlimited scrap storage is too valuable. The private servers, despite their issues, are worth it for some players. Bethesda realizes they can milk the remaining dedicated player base, and they do. April 14th, 2020. After nearly 18 months of disaster, Bethesda releases Wastelanders, the biggest update Fallout 76 will ever receive. The marketing is aggressive. NPCs are coming to Appalachia. See, Bethesda finally admitted that a Fallout game without NPCs is a terrible idea. Wastelanders adds human NPCs, dialogue trees, companions, 2 main factions, and actual quest lines with choices. The update is free for all players. Bethesda is clearly trying to salvage the game's reputation. They delay the update multiple times to ensure quality. When it finally launches, the reception is better. NPCs transform the game. You can talk to people, get quests from actual characters instead of robots, make dialogue choices that affect outcomes, at least superficially. The 2 main factions, the Settlers at Foundation and the Raiders at Crater, give you branching quest lines. The dialogue system returns to the Fallout 3 and New Vegas style, not the simplified Fallout 4 system. Players can see all available dialogue options and make meaningful choices. Companions can join you on adventures. You can recruit allies to your camp who offer daily quests and services. The Wastelanders quest line is genuinely decent. It involves choosing between the Settlers and Raiders to help secure a treasure of gold bullion. Your choices determine which faction gets the upper hand. It's not New Vegas level writing, but it's competent Fallout storytelling. The gaming media declares Fallout 76 fixed. Reviews are reevaluated. Some critics who gave the game 4 or 5 out of 10 at launch now say, give it another chance. But here's the reality. Wastelanders didn't fix Fallout 76. It made it playable. There's a massive difference. The bugs are still everywhere. Performance actually gets worse after Wastelanders because the engine struggles with all the new NPCs. Frame drops, stuttering, and crashes increase. The core gameplay loop remains unchanged. You still grind legendary weapons with random effects. You still farm resources. You still launch nukes to fight the same endgame bosses. The PvP system is still broken. Bethesda introduces Nuclear Winter, a battle royale mode to contain PvP. It launches to minimal interest and is eventually shut down in 2021 due to low player counts. Balance updates are rare. When they do happen, it's almost always to nerf something players enjoy. If a weapon or build becomes popular and fun, Bethesda nerfs it into uselessness. Buffs are extremely rare. The development team is clearly small. Updates come slowly. Content is recycled. The Atomic Shop gets more attention than actual gameplay improvements. Wastelanders brings back some players. The concurrent player count spikes, but without meaningful endgame content or consistent updates, many leave again after exhausting the new quest lines. From April 2020 to April 2024, Fallout 76 enters maintenance mode. It gets minor updates, daily ops, repetitive instanced missions that players quickly tire of, expeditions, short missions in the pit that are underwhelming and grindy, seasonal content, battle passes with recycled rewards. Atomic Shop updates, constant because that makes money. The game is alive, but it's not thriving. It has a dedicated player base of maybe a few 100,000 active players across all platforms. For a Bethesda franchise, that's a failure. Now we need to talk about something truly unique to Fallout 76. The exploit culture and underground economy that Bethesda can't or won't stop. From day one, players have been raiding the developer room. This is a test area in the game files where Bethesda stores items, including unreleased content. It's not supposed to be accessible to players, but it is. Players figure out exploits to teleport into this room. They grab everything. Unreleased weapons, cut content, quest items, test items, debug tools. Then they leave, duplicate everything through duping glitches, and distribute it across the player base. Bethesda patches the access methods. Players find new ones. This has been ongoing since 2018. It continues today. The result, thousands of players own items they're not supposed to have. We're talking cut content items that look cool but were removed from the game, quest-specific items that are supposed to disappear after quests but are now displayable trophies, legendary versions of items that shouldn't be legendary, like clothing with stars and effects. Weapons from Fallout 4 that were never supposed to be in Fallout 76. NPC exclusive outfits that only specific NPCs wear, but players have somehow obtained. Bethesda can't ban these players for several reasons. The exploits allow item transfers. A player with ill-gotten goods can drop them for another player. That second player might have no idea the items are illegitimate. Banning them would be unfair. Players sell items through vendors. Someone can buy a rare item from a camp vendor without knowing it's duped or stolen. The scale is massive. Thousands of players own this stuff. Banning them all would devastate the already small player base. So Bethesda does nothing. They patch specific exploits when they find them, but they don't punish players retroactively. The underground economy thrives. Real money trading, RMT, happens openly. Players sell rare items on third-party websites for real cash. Discord servers exist specifically to trade these items. Some players make hundreds or thousands of dollars selling Fallout 76 items. Then there are the BA2 mods on PC. These are client-side modifications that give players advantages. They're technically against the terms of service, but Bethesda rarely enforces it. What can BA2 mods do? Remove reload animations. Your weapons reload instantly. Increase fire rate beyond normal limits. No clip, walk through walls and terrain. Item ESP. See exactly where every loot container is. Auto loot, automatically collect nearby items, texture mods that highlight enemies or resources. The key thing is that 99% of BA2 modding is cheating against Bethesda, not players. Players use these mods to farm resources faster, complete grindy quests easier, and bypass tedious mechanics. They're not griefing other players, they're circumventing Bethesda's time-wasting gameplay loops. Bethesda knows about this. The mods have existed for years. Mass bannings don't happen. Either they can't effectively detect them, or they've decided it's not worth alienating more players. The duping culture deserves special mention. Every few months, a new duplication glitch is discovered. Players duplicate rare items en masse. The economy floods with perfect legendary weapons. Bethesda patches the specific method, but new ones always emerge. This creates a bizarre situation where the legitimate endgame, grinding random legendary effects on weapons, is completely bypassed by a huge portion of the player base. Why spend hundreds of hours re-rolling effects when you can trade for a duped perfect weapon? Bethesda has essentially lost control of their own game's economy and item distribution, and they seem to have accepted it. April 10th, 2024. The Fallout TV show premieres on Amazon Prime Video. Bethesda, by all accounts, expected it to be moderately successful at best. They prepared virtually nothing for a major surge in player interest. The Atomic Shop got a ghoul skin as tie-in cosmetic, and that was it. The show explodes. Within days, it's the #1 show on Amazon globally. Critics love it. It holds a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audiences love it. It has a 90% audience score. It trends on social media. Memes flood the internet. Suddenly, millions of people who've never played Fallout are interested in the games. Steam concurrent player counts for Fallout games skyrocket. Fallout 4 jumps from about 15,000 concurrent players to over 100,000. Fallout New Vegas sees a similar surge. Fallout 76 goes from around 10,000, 15,000 concurrent on Steam to over 70,000. This is Bethesda's moment. The TV show they didn't make has created massive renewed interest in the franchise. People want to play Fallout. What does Bethesda have ready? Nothing. No new game announcement. No remaster. No remake. Just a next-gen update for Fallout 4 that breaks mod compatibility and introduces new bugs. We covered that disaster in another video. For Fallout 76 specifically, Bethesda is caught completely off guard. The servers struggle with the influx of new players. The game is still the same buggy, content-light experience it's been for years. But something changes. Bethesda realizes they've been given a second chance. They start hiring. The team size increases. The budget clearly gets a boost. And for the first time since Wastelanders in 2020, Fallout 76 gets real, meaningful content updates. Let's look at what drops between April 2024 and January 2025. Skyline Valley, June 2024, the first actual map expansion. A new region south of Appalachia with new quests, locations, and enemies. It's not huge, but it's the first time new landmass has been added to the game. Gleaming Depths, September 2024. The First Raid, a challenging instance dungeon designed for coordinated teams. It has unique rewards and actual difficulty scaling. It's what endgame content should have been at launch. Milepost Zero, November 2024. A seasonal questline that's actually substantial, not just a few holotapes. Ghoul Playable Race, December 2024. You can now play as a ghoul with unique mechanics. Radiation heals you. You have different perk interactions. It's the first new playable race in the game's history. Fishing Mechanic, December 2024. They add fishing. Actual fishing. With unique fish, legendary catches, and rewards. It sounds silly, but it's genuinely the first new core mechanic the game has seen. It's not shooting, looting, or crafting. It's something different. Camp Revamp, December 2024. The first major update to the building system since launch. New building pieces, better snapping, quality of life improvements. Burning Springs, January 2025. The second map expansion, continuing the trend of actually adding new areas. This is more meaningful content in 9 months than the previous 4 years combined. And they're not done. The perk system gets completely overhauled. Instead of card packs with random perks, you can now select exactly what you want. The legendary system changes. You no longer have to pray to RNG for perfect weapon effects. You can craft legendary mod boxes and apply specific effects. This removes the slot machine mechanic that dominated endgame. 4-star legendary effects are added for weapons and armor, giving endgame players new goals. The game is finally getting the support it should have had at launch. So here we are in early 2025. Fallout 76 is 7 years old. It's survived a catastrophic launch, years of neglect, and countless predictions of shutdown. The question everyone asks, is it fixed? The answer is complicated. What's better? The game is playable, server stability is generally good, disconnects are rare, progress wiping bugs are mostly gone. You can actually complete quests without major issues now. NPCs exist, the world feels lived in, you can have conversations, make choices, and engage with characters. Your inventory is safe, the exploits that let players steal your items are patched. Account security is better. Well, there's actual content now. Between Wastelanders, the map expansions, raids, and seasonal updates, there's stuff to do. Not a massive amount, but it exists. The community is surprisingly wholesome. Veteran players help newbies. High-level players drop supplies for low-level characters. The toxic PvP culture mostly died when nuclear winter shut down. You can have fun if you approach it right. If you play with friends, ignore the grind, and don't take it too seriously, there's enjoyment to be found. What's still broken? The bugs never end. 7 years later, it's still a Bethesda game on the creation engine. Enemies glitch through terrain. Physics freak out randomly. Quest objectives bug out. It's better than launch, but it's not polished. The core gameplay loop is still repetitive. Farm resources, craft gear, kill same bosses, get random legendary effects, repeat. It's a hamster wheel. The story is mediocre. Wastelanders added NPCs, but the writing is serviceable at best. This isn't New Vegas. These aren't memorable characters or deep narratives. The monetization is aggressive. The Atomic Shop is constantly pushing sales. Fallout First is still $100 a year for features that should be standard. New content often ties to shop purchases. Balance is inconsistent. Some weapons are godlike, others are useless. Bethesda nerfs fun builds while leaving broken mechanics unfixed. PvP is dead. If you want competitive multiplayer, this isn't it. The PvP systems were never good, and now they're abandoned. Performance is still rough. The engine struggles with the game's scope. Frame drops happen. Loading screens are frequent. The verdict: Fallout 76 is better than it was. Significantly better, but better than the worst launch in the holiday gaming history is a low bar. It's a 6 or 7 out of 10 game now. At launch, it was a 3 out of 10. That's genuine improvement, but it's still not a great game. It's playable, occasionally fun, and has moments of genuine enjoyment. If you love Fallout and can tolerate grind, bugs, and aggressive monetization, you'll find things to like. If you want a tight, polished experience, look elsewhere. The tragic part? If Bethesda had delayed Fallout 76 a year, launched it in the state it's in now, and priced it at $30-$40 as a multiplayer spin-off rather than a $60 mainline release, it would have been received much better. Instead, they launched a broken, unfinished mess, charged full price, lied about features, and spent years slowly fixing it. So what does the Fallout 76 disaster teach us? For companies. First, live service games require commitment. You can't half-ass it. Bethesda tried to make a multiplayer game without multiplayer experience, on an engine not designed for it, with a skeleton crew. That's a recipe for disaster. Second, launching broken doesn't work anymore. The patch it later mentality kills games now. Fallout 76 lost most of its potential player base in week 1. No amount of updates can fully recover from that. Third, community trust is fragile. Bethesda spent decades building goodwill with Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout 3. Fallout 76 damaged that reputation in days. They're still recovering. Fourth, you can't lie to your audience. Todd Howard's E3 presentation promised features the game didn't have or couldn't deliver. Players remember that. Fifth, monetization must match value. Charging $60 at launch, plus aggressive microtransactions, plus a subscription for a broken game. That's insulting. Players revolt. For players, first, don't pre-order. Wait for reviews. Fallout 76 should have killed pre-order culture, but it didn't. Learn the lesson. Second, live service means the game will change. What you buy at launch might not be what you have a year later. Sometimes that's good. Fallout 76 improving. Sometimes it's bad. Features removed. Third, companies will push boundaries. If players accept aggressive monetization, it gets worse. Fallout 76's subscription exists because whales pay for it. Fourth, community matters. The people still playing Fallout 76 aren't there for Bethesda, they're there for each other. That's what sustains broken games. For the industry, Fallout 76 is a case study in hubris. Bethesda thought their brand was strong enough to survive anything. They thought It Just Works would carry a multiplayer survival game with no experience making one. They were wrong. The game survived not because of Bethesda, but despite them. It survived because the Fallout IP is strong, because modders kept fixing bugs, because a small, dedicated community refused to let it die, because a TV show made by someone else created renewed interest. The current state of Fallout 76, playable, moderately fun, consistently updated, is what it should have been at launch in 2018. Instead, it took 6 years, a PR disaster, multiple lawsuits, and a television show to get here.